Hi guys, welcome back. It's Dr. Saru. Welcome to another episode of Med in Practice. And on today's video, as you have read the topic or read the title, today we're talking about bad breath, or what we call in medicine halitosis. So what normally causes bad breath, you might ask yourself? Bad breath is caused by bacteria in your mouth and mostly on your tongue, yeah? These bacteria are normally broken. They break down the food particles that remain in the mouth, plus every other thing that is normally in the mouth is being broken down, and it's broken down to these sulfur compounds or sulfide compounds. And the sulfur compounds are the ones that are mostly responsible for that awful smell that sometimes you might find we have. So you might ask yourself, like, how would I know I have bad breath? One of the simple tests that you can do is licking your inner part of your hand, and then once you lick it, you stay for a while until like the saliva dries off, and then when it does, sniff it. If you feel like there is even a tinge of bad breath, just imagine what the other person normally feels or what they smell from your mouth. If at all, it's not because of something specific that you did the previous day or during the day. Yeah, so let's get into it and know how, or rather, what are the causes of bad breath. Yeah, so first and foremost, food. Different kind of foods have different smells. There are some food, the types of food which have some very offensive or very strong smell, such as garlic or onions. So sometimes you might find yourself having bad breath just because you had maybe garlic bread, or maybe you like to chew on garlic sometimes, because I know some people do that. And another thing which I did categorize it in food is alcohol. So you tend to notice that people have, especially like the day after the binge drinking, somebody has a very offensive smell of alcohol, which smells really terrible than the actual thing. The second thing is poor oral hygiene. So for poor oral hygiene, perhaps you do not brush your teeth twice daily. That is morning and evening time, just before bed. Maybe you do not floss. Maybe when you brush, you don't brush your tongue. You don't have practices to go see your dentist. All those are collectively categorized in the poor oral hygiene. The third thing is chewing tobacco or smoking it. So for cigarette smokers or people who chew on tobacco leaves, they tend to have this distinct tobacco smell, which is not really pleasing. And in addition to now the breakdown of the bacteria, it makes one have a very, very, very offensive smell. The other thing, that is the fourth thing, infections. So for infections, different types of infections can give you different types of characteristic smell. That's a video that I'll do, I think, on coming Friday, yeah, so that you can know the types of bad smell and what each smell, what does it indicate. So for different infections, yes, you can have bad breath because of different kind of infections, starting from kidney disease all the way to maybe you're having acid or acid reflux disease, or if you're having just tonsillar stone or tonsillitis or bronchitis, so many things. But we're going to be discussing this next week, types of bad smells. So make sure you click on that subscribe button and click on the bell so that next week when I'm dropping that video, you can be notified so that you can know exactly, I have a bad breath. What does that indicate? What is the characteristic smell for different kind of diseases or ailments? The fifth thing is dry mouth. The people who have a medical condition where they get their mouth really gets dry, so they don't have enough saliva, or they do not produce enough saliva, sorry. So once that happens, then definitely they tend to have, because of the fact that the saliva really helps with moistening and also washing down some of the food particles that remain in our mouth, so that they reduce even the bulk of the bacteria working on it. So the minute that you do not have enough saliva, or you're having a dry mouth, either because you have that medical condition, or maybe because of some drugs, which brings me to my sixth point. Some drugs can cause bad breath, and it's because mainly they give you dry mouth, and once you have the dry mouth, then you again happen to have the bad breath. So the seventh thing is crash diets. Specifically crash diets that involve maybe low carbs and a lot of intake of protein. Sometimes you might have people who have that characteristic ketonic breath, because of the fact that they're breaking a lot of their fat cells, and when that happens, that pathway is chosen for getting carbohydrates or energy from that different pathway. You tend to have a lot of ketones in your circulation, and ketones are indicated that you're almost like in starvation mode, because they are normally produced at that time because of the pathway that I've just talked about. So for people who are on low carb diet, these crash diets, for a while you might notice they also have bad breath. The eighth thing is foreign body. So especially for kids, that sometimes they can stick things up their noses, and then they start to form they start to get infected, or it can also give bad breath. Remember, anything that is connected to the nose and the throat and ears sometimes can also affect, just the same way even I was telling you about other diseases like maybe kidney diseases, which can bring you bad breath, which we'll talk about next Friday. So you might ask yourself, how can I prevent bad breath? Because it's an embarrassing condition, but especially if it's because of a medical condition and not maybe your own doing, for example, having poor oral hygiene, then it is not supposed to be that embarrassing. If you have the problem, it's good to seek help from your either medical doctor or a dentist. They'll be better placed to help you further to know what the cause of your situation. So prevention, it's better to prevent than have to cure something, hey? So good oral hygiene, what does that mean? Brushing twice daily, as I told you, in the morning and just before you get to bed. Make sure you brush your tongue when you're brushing, and also make sure you do floss your teeth. I know it's a foreign concept for most people about flossing teeth, but it is a lifesaver if you want not to have these gum diseases that can make you have bad breath. The other thing, have a visit to your dentist at least twice a year. Every 6 months you need to be at the dentist, so that if there's need of cleaning your teeth, or there's need of giving you advice, considering what they might find when they do the examination, your oral exam, you'll be better placed to avoid having such embarrassing moments, I suppose, if you don't go to your dentist. How many of you have gone to see the dentist this year? I mean, at the beginning of the year, maybe perhaps, and you're waiting for your 6 months. If you've not, please do that. This is a reminder. Number 3, stop smoking or chewing tobacco. Since we already mentioned that this can be one of the causes, so yeah, just stop. It's not helping you. Yeah. Number 4, drink lots of water, and especially this is for people who have the dry mouth. It helps to moisten your mouth. It helps to wash down some of those food particles that are in your mouth. Eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, and I'll explain why in the coming video, because of some of the causes of the same. Number 6, alcohol intake also, because as we said, alcohol also can do that. And if you don't like the smell of those offensive foods like garlic and onions, make sure maybe you cook them well so that they have less of the fragrance, or avoid them at all if at all that is the route you'd want to take. Yeah. Another thing, the 7th thing, which I know most of you might be culprits of. How many of you replace their toothbrushes every 3 months? Did you know changing your toothbrush every 3 months is what is recommended by dentists as part of good oral health or good oral hygiene practice? So I know most of us fall under this category of saying, hey, mswaki yangu haijaribika, why will I be replacing my toothbrush and it's not broken, or it's not looking ugly and the bristles are still intact? The rightful way is you need to be using a toothbrush for only 3 months. After that, it needs to go. It just needs to go. This is another sign for you guys to just drop those toothbrushes and get new ones. So until next time, it's Dr. Saru. I can't wait to describe to you the types of bad smells and what it each indicates.